Egypt. 3,000 years of pharaohs. They invented writing, mathematics, surgery. They mapped the stars, and they built monuments that outlasted every empire that came after them. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, the oldest and largest of the three at Giza, 481 feet tall, aligned to true north within a fraction of a degree. For decades, documentaries have told you the pyramids are an unsolved mystery, that we don't know how they were built, that maybe we never will. Until now, welcome to History Excavated. You've heard the theories: external ramps, spiral ramps, aliens, lost civilizations with forgotten technology, but none of them answer the basic math. 2.3 million blocks, 20 years. Do the arithmetic. That's one block placed every few minutes, every single day, for 20 years straight. No breaks, no delays. And these aren't small blocks. The average limestone block weighs 2.5 tons. The granite beams in the King's Chamber weigh 80 tons each. The base layer blocks weigh 15 tons. Let that sink in. How did they actually do it? In September 2025, a peer-reviewed paper proposed an answer, and the evidence wasn't buried in some lost archive. It was inside the pyramid the whole time, scratched into the walls, worn into the stone, hiding in plain sight for 46 centuries. In this video, you'll see why 54 mysterious slots were carved into the Grand Gallery walls, why there are scratches inside a tomb that was sealed for millennia, and how workers lifted 80-ton granite beams higher than a 12-story building. The Grand Gallery wasn't a passage, it was a machine. The conventional explanation goes like this: build a ramp, drag the blocks up, repeat. Simple, intuitive, and it collapses as the pyramid rises. External ramps work for the lower courses, where most of the pyramid's volume sits and height is manageable. But as the structure climbs, the math turns brutal. A straight external ramp maintaining a walkable slope would need to extend over 1.5 kilometers to reach the summit. The ramp itself would require 1.5 million cubic meters of material, nearly as much as the pyramid it was meant to construct. Then it would need to be completely dismantled. No trace of this mega ramp exists. No foundation, no debris field, nothing. Spiral ramps face different problems. Every turn creates a bottleneck, and neither theory explains the heaviest blocks. The King's Chamber ceiling contains 9 granite beams. Each weighs between 60 and 80 tons, the weight of a commercial airliner. They were quarried in Aswan, 1,000 kilometers to the south, floated down the Nile, then lifted 43 meters into the heart of the pyramid. 80 tons, 43 meters high, through passages barely wide enough to fit them. For over a century, Egyptologists have admitted the upper 2/3 of the pyramid, where external ramps become impractical, remains unexplained. The honest answer has been, we don't know, until now. Imagine standing inside the Grand Gallery, 153 feet long, 28 feet high, walls corbelling inward at precise angles. For 46 centuries, scholars assumed this was a corridor, a passage to the King's Chamber, a feature unique to Khufu's pyramid. No other pyramid has anything like it. But look closer. Run your hand along the walls. Some surfaces are polished smooth as glass. Others are gouged with deep scratches, grooves worn into limestone that should have remained pristine inside a sealed tomb. Now here's the key. If this was a walkway leading up to the King's Chamber, the wear patterns should trend upward. Generations of priests and workers walking up to the burial site. But the wear trends down, toward the entrance, as if heavy objects slid down this passage repeatedly, year after year, for decades. Notice the benches running along both sides, each cut with rectangular slots at regular intervals, 27 on the left, 27 on the right, perfectly spaced. Why would a burial passage need 54 slots? And why does this corridor share the exact same angle, 26.5 degrees, as both the ascending passage below it and the descending passage on the opposite side? 1 cubit of rise for every 2 cubits of run. 3 different passages, same slope. That's not coincidence, that's engineering. In September 2025, engineer Simon Schuring published a paper in NPJ Heritage Science, a Nature portfolio journal, that reframes everything. His argument: the Grand Gallery wasn't designed for people to walk through, it was designed for counterweights to slide down. Here's how the system worked. The granite counterweight sits on a wooden sledge at the top of the Grand Gallery. A rope attaches to it, runs down the gallery, and enters a small granite room. There, the rope passes over wooden logs mounted in slots, changing direction from horizontal to vertical. The rope continues down through a vertical shaft cut through the pyramid's core, where it connects to a construction block waiting below. Release the counterweight. Gravity pulls it down the Grand Gallery's slope. The rope pulls taut, and the construction block rises up through the vertical shaft. Gravity does the work. The pyramid builds itself. The physics check out. At 26.5 degrees, a sliding counterweight generates usable pulling force equal to about 26% of its weight after friction, enough to lift massive blocks with mechanical advantage. Those 54 slots. They held wooden beams that guided the ropes and controlled the system. The wear patterns on the floor. Counterweights sliding down over and over for years. The counterweight slides down. The rope pulls taut. But where does the rope change direction? Where does downward motion become upward lift? That small granite room is called the Antechamber, and for 200 years we completely misunderstood what it was. Egyptologists interpreted the antechamber as a portcullis system, a security mechanism. A portcullis is a heavy vertical drop gate, like the ones in medieval castles. The theory, granite slabs would drop down to block tomb robbers after the pharaoh was sealed inside. Shearing's paper presents 13 reasons why that interpretation is wrong. The system doesn't work mechanically. Gaps would let robbers through. It's redundant. Granite plug blocks already seal the ascending passage. The engineering is excessive for simple security. But the strongest evidence. The grooves in the walls extend 94 centimetres above where blocking slabs would sit. Why build grooves where no slab would ever reach? Unless those grooves held wooden logs. Logs that ropes passed over. Logs that turned this room into a pulley station, the fulcrum where downward force became upward lift. But if counterweights start at the top of the Grand Gallery, how did they get there? External ramps. The system didn't build the entire pyramid. Construction happened in phases. Phase 1. External ramps handle the lower courses while the structure is still low. Workers stock counterweight blocks at the top of the Grand Gallery. Phase 2. The internal system activates. External ramps become impractical. Counterweights slide down, blocks rise up through vertical shafts. The system feeds itself. Phase 3. The apex. In 2017, Scan Pyramids discovered a massive void above the Grand Gallery, 30 metres long, matching the Grand Gallery's dimensions. 2 ramps, same design, one above the other. In 2023, they found another hidden space, the North Face Corridor. 9 metres long, sealed for 46 centuries. The pyramid wasn't built despite its passages, it was built because of them. In 2018, excavations at Hatnub Quarry revealed a ramp dated to Khufu's reign, with slopes exceeding 20%. Post holes lined both sides for wooden stakes. Workers wrapped ropes around them, multiplying pulling force through friction. The same principle Shearing proposes, proven in the archaeological record. In 2013, archaeologist Pierre Tallet discovered the oldest known papyri in Egypt at Wadi al-Jarf. A work diary from an inspector named Mera, documenting his crew hauling limestone to Akhet Khufu, the horizon of Khufu, the Great Pyramid, 200 blocks per month. His supervisor, Ankhaf, the pharaoh's half-brother. The papyri don't prove how it was built, but they prove who organised Egyptian crews with chains of command, schedules and accountability. Not all Egyptologists are convinced. Hawass remains sceptical. Lena wants more evidence, but the wear patterns are there, the slots are there, the angles match, the physics work, and questions remain. Why was the Grand Gallery built 28 feet tall when less would suffice? What lies inside the big void? Are there more passages? The pyramid still holds secrets, but for the first time we have a theory that survives the math, not speculation, proof pulled from the ground.